Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how to make a Prezi presentation today. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you can do a basic Prezi. So my focus is going to be on how to frame and group objects and how to make different pathways. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a presentation that I first did when I first used Prezi. So this is my very first Prezi back freshman year, so a couple years ago. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out over here. So this was over different learning styles. Something very useful that Prezi is very good at is called layering. So if you have major headings to your presentation, so for this presentation mine was to describe what a learning style was, to talk about the problem, and then to give solutions. So those are very big. They're the biggest things, except for the pictures, on my presentation. And then the next level, the next layer, per se, is smaller. So different learning styles in this case were mastery, self-expressive, interpersonal, the problem, so I talked about at-risk students, etc. So you want to layer them. So another good example is to define something. So say down here at magnet schools, so if I want to zoom in on that, if I wanted to define magnet schools, I would put it down here in smaller print. So okay, so I would move that where it's a little smaller. Okay. Again, it needs to be really small. So, if I wanted to zoom in on this during the presentation, I would definitely be able to read it. However, when I zoom back out, it doesn't distract from the overall view. So, this is called layering. This is something that Prezi is very good at doing. Okay, so framing. As you see on here, it was my first Prezi presentation, so I don't really have any frames. However, in order to have helped that situation, I could have inserted some. So this one I actually just inserted a minute ago. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and show you how I did it. So if you go over here, you hit the frame button. So you can decide which shape frame you want. So for this one, I'm going to go with the rectangle. Click on it. Drag it over what you want to frame. Okay. Then, the nice thing about this is that I can pick it up and move the whole thing. So I can move everything within that frame. Alright, I can make it all smaller, can make it all bigger, I can rotate all of it. Okay, so it's inside that frame. Another option for framing is if I want to be able to move it, but I don't want the viewer to actually see the frame, I can do a hidden frame. So I might do this over here for some reason. Then I would click on the actual frame and I can move anything that's in it. Okay. Again, you always have the option to put the trash can and delete it, or you can use the pencil to edit it. So I'm going to delete that one because I don't like it. So for instance, if I wanted a circular frame down here, just highlight over it and there it is. And then I can, oh, that was just a frame. You can move everything that's in it and delete. So, framing is very useful. It helps to organize the thoughts. It keeps them a little bit more contained, and you can also edit groups of things together. So that's layering and framing. So now on to pathways. Pathways are very useful in a presentation. As you can see, I have a complex pathway already set up here. So what pathways do is it will zoom in on your object. So in your presentation, this is the direction it's going to go. Every time you hit the right arrow, for instance, number 1, mine's going to zoom in on what is a learning style. After that, it is going to go to this picture, number 2, and it will zoom in and take up the whole screen, as we'll see here in a second, to number 3, number 4, etc. So if I want to make a new number, I can drag this if I want to change it, make number 4 down there. I can also grab this middle dot. If I need something in between 5 and 6, I can take this middle dot and put it on whatever I want. And as you see, it goes down here to your image view. And down here, you can easily delete things with the red X. You can zoom in on it, and it'll show you how big it's going to be. So let's see, number 3. So as you see on this, this was my first presentation. I thought it was very cool to go upside down and around. For professional presentations, that's probably not best. So you would want to eliminate that. However, the pathway is very useful. You can see different things. It will zoom in on the pictures no matter how small they actually are. So something else that's very useful when you're doing pathways is to do what is called a capture view. So if I want to zoom in over here, if I want you to see this whole yellow frame, zoom in a little more. So if I just want to describe this whole thing at once, or if I just want you to see how it's laid out, the different layers, hit this button over here and it's called Capture View. And so it puts that little capture down there at the end so that you will see the overview. That would be good right after you explain something or right before you're going to. So that is the basics about framing and pathways and grouping. So just remember that the different levels are very useful in a Prezi. Grouping helps to organize it and allows you to edit it all together. And pathways help show your presentation. They showcase the different organizational groups that you've already set up and allows your presentation to flow smoothly. Thank you for watching the video.